Good morning. Ooh. So, yesterday I went to the gym for the first time in a couple months. My body is sore and I love it. Am I the only person that likes that feeling of being sore? Ooh, it feels so good. And when I go get a massage, I think I'm gonna go get a massage this week. But when I go, it's gonna feel really good. I'm gonna have to tell them to go gentle though. Sometimes they be hurting me. Like I'm still human, you know. This is for real. This is real life. But I went and got my hair done on Sunday and sweat it out, of course, because I didn't wear a hair wrap. I thought it was going to be ghetto to wear my hair out in the gym. Wear my hair wrapped up in the gym. But my friend was like, girl, it's okay though. My hair is growing so much. She said, girl, wrap that hair up. You're right. Okay, so today we'll be reading 1 Samuel 15 through 19. Yeah. Oh, it's pretty short today. It'll be alright. So, recording. Alright. So the Lord rejects Saul. This is gonna be good. And Samuel said to Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint you king over his people of Israel. Now therefore listen to the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, I have noted what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way when they came out of Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both men and women, child and infant, oxen, sheep, camel, and donkey. So Saul summoned the people and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 men on foot, and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to the city of Amalek and lay in wait in the valley. Then Saul said to the Kenites, go down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. So you showed kindness to all the people of Israel when they came out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites, and Saul defeated the Amalekites from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Egypt. He took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive and devoted to destruction of the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fattened calves, and of the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them all. All that was despised and worthless they devoted to destruction. The word of the Lord came to Samuel. I regret that I have made Saul king, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments. So the Lord can regret giving us a blessing, because we have free will, so you know. That is for he has turned back from following me and has not performed my commandments. Samuel was angry, and then he cried to the Lord all night. And Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, and it was told Samuel, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set up a monument for himself and turned and passed on and went down to Gilgal. He set up a monument to himself. Is that like what they would worship? And Samuel said to Saul, And Saul said to him, and Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said to him, Blessed be to you, blessed be you to the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the oxen that I hear? Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and the oxen to sacrifice to the Lord our God, and the rest we have devoted to destruction. And Samuel said to Saul, Stop, I will tell you what the Lord said to me. And he said to him, Speak. And Samuel said, Though you are little in your own eyes, you are not Though you are little in your own eyes, are you not the head of the tribes of Israel? The Lord anointed you king over Israel. And the Lord sent you on a mission and said, Go devote to destruction the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed. So this was the Lord's instruction. Until they are consumed. Why then did you not obey the voice of the Lord? Why did you pounce? I gotta sneeze. It hurt. Okay. Why did you pounce on the spoil and do what was evil on the sight of the Lord? And Saul came to Samuel. And Saul said to Samuel, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord. I have gone on the mission on which the Lord sent me. I have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and I have devoted the Amalekites to destruction. But the people took the spoil. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, and the best of the things devoted to destruction, to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offering and sacrificing, as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen than the fat of the rams. For the rebellion of the sin of divination, and the presumptuous is an inequity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you from being king. And Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in your words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now therefore, please pardon my sin and return with me, that I may bow before the Lord. And Samuel said, I will not return you, for you have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you from being king of Israel. As Samuel turned away, Saul seized the skirt of his robe and tore it, And Samuel said to him, The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you this day, and has given it to a neighbor of yours who is better than you. And also the glory of Israel will not lie or have regret, for he is not a man that he should have regret. Then he said, I have sinned, yet honor me now before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me, that I may bow before the Lord your God. So Samuel returned back after Saul, and Saul bowed before the Lord. Then Samuel said, Bring here to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came to him cheerfully. Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As your word has made women childless, so shall your mother be childless among women. And Samuel hacked Agag to pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Then Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to his house in Gibeah of Saul. And Samuel did not see Saul again until the day of his death. And Samuel grieved over Saul. He was sad. And the Lord regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel. So Sam grieved. I know that kind of hurt when you kind of let the Lord down. Chapter 16. David anointed king. These sneezes are hurting. I have to blow my nose. Sorry, I don't mean to have my buttocks in the camera. That's not appropriate. Jesus, you're my shepherd. I'm safe with you. Show me what's beyond this horizon I see. The wonders of your kingdom. You are wonderful. Alright. So, now we're on chapter 16. David becomes king. Okay. And the Lord said to Samuel, how long will you grieve over Saul, since I have rejected him from being king over Israel? Fill our horn with oil and go. So the Lord is like, are you done yet? I will send you to Jesse in Bethlehem, or Bethlehemite, for I have provided for myself a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. And invite Jesse to the sacrifice. And I will show you what you shall do. And you shall anoint for him. You shall anoint for me him whom I declare to you. Samuel did what the Lord commanded. So let me write that down because that's important. He said, and you shall anoint for me him who I declare to you. Samuel did what the Lord commanded and came to Bethlehem. The elders of the city came to meet him trembling and said, do you come peaceably? And he said, peaceably I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Consecrate yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. And he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they came, he looked on Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed him before. Oh, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on the appearance or the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. And mind you, Saul was looking pretty good himself, but he wasn't who we thought he would be. So because I have rejected him, for the Lord sees not as a man sees. Man looks at the outer appearance, but the Lord looks at the hearts. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither has the Lord chosen this one. Then Jesse made Shammah pass by. And he said, neither has Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. And Samuel said to Jesse, are all your sons here? And he said, there remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and get him, for we will not sit down till he comes here. And he sent and brought him here. Now he was rudely and had beautiful eyes, and he was handsome. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. So there it is, unlikely, chosen again. The Lord is always choosing the one who is less likely to be chosen. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David from that day forward. And Samuel rose and went to Ramah. David and Saul's servants. Now the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a harmful spirit from the Lord tormented him. Once the Spirit of the Lord leaves, it's over. But Saul's servant said to him, Behold, a harmful spirit from God is tormenting you. Let our Lord now command your servants. Why is Lord capital? Lowercase. Oh, okay, so they're talking about Saul. Let Saul command your servants who are before you to seek out a man who is skillful in playing and lyre. And when the harmful spirit from God is upon you, he will play, and you will be well. So the power of music. Music is more powerful than we think. Okay, so Saul said to his servants, Provide for me a man who can play well, and bring him to me. One of the young men answered, Behold, I have seen Jesse in Bethlehem, who was skillful in playing, a man of valor, a man of war, prudent in speech, and a man of a man of good presence, and the Lord is with him. Therefore Saul sent his messengers to Jesse and said, Send me David your son, who is with the sheep. And Jesse took a donkey, laden with bread and skin of wine. And a young goat, and sent them by David his son to Saul. And David came to Saul and entered his service. And Saul loved him greatly, and he became his armor bearer. So Saul loved David. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, Let David remain in my service, for he has found favor in my sight. And whenever the harmful spirit of God was upon Saul, David took the lyre and played it with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the harmful spirit departed from him. Chapter 17, David and Goliath. Now the Philistines gathered their armies for battle, and they were gathered at Sakah, which belongs to Judah, and encamped between Sakah and Azekah, and Ephes-Dammim. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and encamped in the valley of Elah, and drew up in the line of battle against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, with the valley between them. And there came out from the camp of the Philistines a champion named Goliath. His height was 6 cubits in span, and he had a helmet of bronze on his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels, of bronze, and he had bronze armor on his legs, and a javelin of bronze slung between his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and his shield bearer went before him. He stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, Why have you come out to draw for battle? Am I not a Philistine? Are you not servants of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight me and will kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and I kill him, then you should be our servants and serve us. I'm recording. Sorry, y'all. I'll be saying y'all like somebody watching. You never know. Alright. So if I win, you'll serve us. If you win, we'll serve you. And the Philistines said, I defy the ranks of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. They forgot who they were. When you're afraid, you don't have a God. No. When you're afraid, fear is your God. Now David has a son of the Ephrathite of Bethlehem in Judah named Jesse. Oh, David was the son. Okay. That's right. Right? Because, if I'm not mistaken, there's somewhere that told us the family lineage, and I wrote it down. Anyway, now David was the son of the Ephrathite in Bethlehem named Jesse. So Jesse fathered David, who had 8 sons. Jesse had 8 sons. Or 7 other sons. In the days of Saul, the men was already old and advanced in years. The 3 oldest sons of Jesse had followed Saul to the battle. In the days of Saul, the men was already okay. And the name of his 3 sons were Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah. David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. For 40 days, the Philistine came down. Okay. For 40 days, the Philistines came forward and took his hand morning and evening. And Jesse said to David his son, take for your brothers an ephah of this parched grain and these 10 loaves, and carry them quickly to the camp to your brothers. Also take these 10 cheeses to the commander of the 1,000. See if your brothers are well, and bring some token for them. So Jesse sent David 2 brothers just to make sure he was good. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. And David rose early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper and took the provisions and went, as Jesse had commanded him. He came to the encampment as the host was going out to battle line, shouting the war cry. And Israel and the Philistines drew up for battle, army against army, and David left the things in charge of the keeper for the bag, and ran to the ranks, and went and had greeted his brothers. As he talked with them, and behold, the champion of Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, came up out of the ranks of the Philistines and spoke the same words as he did before, and David heard him. All the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were much afraid. And the men of Israel said, "Have you seen this man whom has come up? Surely he has come up to defy Israel." And the king will enrich the man who kills him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. So these are the gifts or reward for the conqueror or winner. So he'll make his father's house free, give him a daughter, and give him great riches. David said to the men who stood by, "What shall be done for the man who kills the Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him in the same way, "So shall it be done to the man who kills him." Now Eliab, the eldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. Hater. And he said, "Why have you come down?" And he came down to check on him, child. "And with whom have you left those sheep in the wilderness? I know your presumption and the evil of your heart." Wow. "And the evil of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle." No, he did not. He did not come to see the battle. He didn't know nothing about it. And David said, "What have I done now? Was it not but a word?" But he turned away from him toward another and spoke in the same way. And the people answered him again as before. When the words that David spoke were heard, they repeated before Saul. And he sent for him. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go up and fight the Philistine." And Saul said to David, "You are not able to go against the Philistine to fight him, for you are but a youth." So Saul doubts David. It seems like David is the only one remembering who their God is. How y'all gonna forget the living God? The one and the only. Should I? Yeah, let me start this over.